How you doing? Yeah, CJ? Yeah. I was waving at you, Maddie.
Oh.
It's crazy. It's crazy to see you logged in and then in class. That's awesome, though. That's pretty cool. No, I was just like, you were just like staring. I was like, what are you staring at? Oh, let's see. This is here. And logged in now, too. Okay, so CJ is here in person. So Brian is here. Still no Chris yet? Is that right? And Helica no either? So no Alex M yet either, right? Yeah, Mr. Ningler's a good dude. I like him.
Yeah, he knew my mom before she passed away. So they were like really tight.
How did he know her?
They were just really close. They
Oh.
met at,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, they met at one of my football games, and then they just got really close, and then
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, I was locked up for a while. Yeah.
So Gabe is here though.
And then I gotta drop that time thing. Oh, I see her girl. Or I think her boy. Or whoever it is. Oh, license. So I see her all the time. I see. Huh? Oh, I see her. And then I see a bunch of people before we go.
Where at? Where do you work?
At Planet Fitness.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I think that is everybody. Right, so just to check and make sure I didn't miss anybody. So still no Chris, still no Angelica, right? No Alex M, no Sam M, no Omar M, right? Oh, I thought you, okay, I was looking at the wrong line. I have you here. It's Alex, sorry. Okay, so no Alex, no Omar. And I think that's it. Everybody else is here. This stuff here. Oh, now it's back working. I don't understand that. It didn't work second period. Okay. Okay, so I think that should be better. Let me get to this. So first thing I'll go over with you is what we talked about yesterday in terms of supply. We'll do a review game and make sure that you're ready for that. I'll show you how to access that review game. You can practice it as many times as you want. In your groups, you'll make your trades. We've got one trade left this week. Number of groups actually went up quite a bit yesterday. And then there's one assignment based off of 2 articles about avocados and lemons. And so we'll go over that real quick. But first, when we look at supply, what we want to realize is what I said yesterday. If you remember back to the beginning of the semester, we talked about a circular flow model. And in that circular flow model, we had two groups, right? We had households on one side. Those are the people, right, that sell their land, their labor, their capital, their business knowledge in exchange for money, right? In exchange for money. Over here, you have businesses, right? Businesses or firms. They take that capital, right, in the factories, and they make finished goods and services. Those goods and services, they sell to households in exchange for money. And so what I said yesterday is, unlike the last unit, right? The last unit was demand-based. What households do with their money and how they want to spend it. This is based off of what businesses do to get rid of their goods and services. So there's just two halves of the circular flow model, the same thing we talked about from the beginning of the semester. And then in terms of illustrating that, it's exactly the same. So just because it says supply schedule or supply curve doesn't mean that it's any different from, right? Doesn't mean that it's any different from what we saw with demand. So price is always going to be on the left, quantity is always going to be on the right, and in this case, it's quantity supply, not demanded. So we talked about Subway or sub sandwiches yesterday. At $7, Romano sub sandwich shop would provide 220 subs. At $6, they would provide 200. It's just a listing of prices and how many that business would provide at that price. So that's all you have going on there. And then, as we said, it's easy to create a supply curve from that. Remember, with a supply curve, we've got the origin here. It's just like a math graph. So even though these things aren't on here, right? Even though these things aren't on here, all this is a math graph. And this is just a positive quadrant. That's all it is. And so in this, as we said, what we have here, right, is price on the y-axis. We have quantity, in this case, supply on the x-axis. And then what you do is you take each one of these price points and just graph them over here. That's all it is. So that means it's $7 up here. Let's say we have 220. There's going to be a dot there. Right? And then we can have another one. Right? Another one. Another one. And then all you do is take your dots, connect them together, and that's your supply curve. This one slopes up because of what we said yesterday, right? The law of supply says the price and quantity supplied are going to move in the same direction. So price goes up, quantity supplied is going to go up. Price goes down, quantity supplied is going to go down. And you'll be set. Any questions so far on any of that? It's just the same as last unit, right? It's just talking about from the other point of view on the other side of the circular flow model. Then the last couple of things we talked about was the government and how supply acts or reacts to a change in price. So remember, when we talk about elasticity, right, that's always related to price, whether it be demand or supply. And we have three types, right? We have elastic, we have inelastic, and we have unitary. Elastic means if you have a little change in price, and it's going to be a huge change in supply. Inelastic is big change in price, little change in supply. And then unitary is price and supply. Right? Price and supply. Government, right, can control supply, and they do that, right, with things like alcohol, so they put an excise tax, right? The government, during the pandemic, right, provided subsidies to different businesses, right? So they can offer money that the government can control supply, either increase it or decrease it through a couple of things to make it more difficult to supply those products or easier to supply those products, depending upon what they want to do. Questions on that? All right, and then the last thing, and we know this, right? When we talked about this, right? We talked about households, and we talked about businesses and the exchanges that take place, right? Businesses need to bring in the most money, right, through their sales. So when they bring in money for their finished goods and services, it better be a lot more than what they're paying for up here, right? Or they're going to be in trouble, right? Because when you look at a business, their number one concern is a profit. And profit is your total revenue minus your operating cost, which is your total cost, right? That's fixed costs, variable costs, utilities, wages, salary, what have you. So in this area of the circular flow model, when they are in the supply chain, they better have this box be bigger than this box, so they're not going to be in business very long. And that was the last thing that we went over. Okay. Makes sense? So let's run through this here. See if I can get this up here. Okay, so it'll take just a minute for the game to come up. Okay, so the game code is 802-4360. One more, that was you that came in, right? Yep, there you are.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure I mark you present so you don't get one of those stupid calls. Okay, so you are here. Still no Alex M though, right? I didn't miss him coming in. Still no Chris, no, still no Angelica. couple of things, right, about this review. All of these questions here are on that unit test. So the unit test, right, that you'll do for this unit, all 35 of these are on that test, right? That's why we go take notes off of that, use the notes on your test, go over it anytime you want. All right, so supply curve. Supply curve that I just did, what is that? What is best described on that? Right? A graph that lists goods supplied at different prices, right? So we take the price and quantity supply points and just put them on a graph. That's all a supply curve is. Share. All right. What is the tendency of suppliers to offer more of a good at a higher price bulk? Right? Law of supply. Law of supply. Law of supply, price and quantity supply are going to go in the same direction. If one's going up, the other one has to go up. If the other one's going down, the other one has to go down. Why would the supply curve of the dog walking business be considered elastic? Right. So on this one, the dog walking business is going to be considered very reactive to even a small change in prices because it can hire workers quickly if the prices rise fast. Right. Remember, elastic is very responsive even to a little change in price. So because the supply of dogs change quickly, dogs don't have a lifespan of a day or two, right? They have a lifespan of generally 0 to 14 years. So that one's not true. Because the supply of dog walking does not fluctuate easily. A dog walking business probably has been in business, right, for a long time. It doesn't go into business, out of business. And then obviously if those two are not, you can't be all of the above. But that's why you're looking at that one. What is a market supply schedule? Right? The table that lists goods supplied at different prices. That's the table there that we made prices on the left, quantity supplies on the right, and then the pairs cascade down in numerical order. A raise in the price of a product is going to determine what? Raising the price of a product helps to determine what? So remember, when we talk about all of this, what we're looking at here is the ability, right? The ability, when we talk about price and we talk about supply, right? Those things both go in the same direction. This was an increase, a decrease. Increase, decrease, that's why it's not right. Increase, Increased competition, we don't know. We don't know if more of that product, because we don't even know what the product is. So that's why that one there is not right. Okay, is not right. All right, what factor might lead to the opening of several new pizzerias in town? Price of a slice of pizza has gone up, right? Remember that when the price goes up, supply goes up. So if there's a number of new pizzerias in town, we know that supply has gone up, and pizzerias, right, are going to increase off of the price of the pizza. So if supply is elastic, what does that mean? If supply is elastic, what does that mean? All right. So remember, elastic means that it's very responsive even to a little change in price. So it reacts strongly or moves a lot to a change in price is what elastic means. Inelastic means it hardly changes at all. The measure of the way quantity supply reacts to a change in price is what? Elasticity of supply, right? The measure that quantity supply reacts to a change in price elasticity. Any factor that can change is what? On that list, what would change? Or what's another word for change? I guess we would say. There you go. Variable. Variable. Okay, what is needed to create a supply schedule for a fruit smoothie shop? Really, what's needed to create any supply schedule? What do you need? What are the two things that you need for that too? Right? The price and the number, right? The price chart and the number. Cost that does not change no matter how much of the good is produced. What's another term up there for stable? Another term for like stable price. Fixed cost, right? Fixed cost. Those are what stay the same. Okay, the cost of producing one more unit of the good is known as what? Marginal cost, right? Marginal cost. How does the firm calculate its profit? Right? So it's total revenue minus total cost. Total cost is basically, right, the total operating cost. Those are two terms that mean the same thing, basically. The additional income from selling one more unit of a good, sometimes equal to its price, is increasing marginal return. Increasing marginal return. A fixed cost is $27. The variable cost of producing 3 more games is 11. What's the total? Right? 27 plus 11 is going to be 38. So when we talk about total cost, you're putting fixed and variable together. A cost that rises or falls depending on how much is produced to be known as what? Variable cost, right? Variable cost. What is the level of output every firm strives for? No. Marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost. Total cost is, again, fixed cost plus variable cost, right? If the total cost of producing 75 pizzas is $25, the total cost for 76 pizzas is 28, right? Which of those statements is true? Yes, it is. All right, so remember, right, this is why that is. You got 75 pieces, right? Cost you $25 to make. Remember the term marginal, right? Marginal means one additional. So we added pizza 76. Our cost now went up to $28. The difference between 28 and 25 is 3. So that's why that is $3. So remember the term marginal means one additional, right? And one additional pizza from 75 to 76 raised, right? $3 basically. So, all right. What does the pizza store experience when the number of workers is increased from 5 to 6? Marginal product of labor, right? One additional, the term, right? Marginal returns is what you get back. So that doesn't even apply here. A negative cost of labor, there's nothing there about the cost. It's just one additional unit of labor. What happens to supply when input costs go up? If it costs less to make a good or service, what's going to happen to the amount of supply? Right? Decreases. Decreases. If it costs you more to make something, supply is going to go down. Government intervention in a market that affects the production of goods is regulation, right? Regulation. Which of the following will always cause the supply curve to shift to the left? So which one is going to cause it to move closer to zero? Excise taxes. Excise taxes. All right, new advances in technology usually do what? Right, all of those are true, right? So new technology generally causes a drop in the price of the cost to make goods and services, causes the supply curve to move to the right because it increases supply away from zero. Increased supply at every level, it generally does that as well too. So if you put blue or yellow, you're right, it's just red as well. A government payment that supports a business or makes, or market, excuse me, is what? A government payment. I talked about this yesterday with my buddy and his dad owning a cotton farm in Arizona. What did the government do for my buddy's dad? Right, subsidies. They give subsidies, right? So back in the 80s, they paid cotton farmers in Arizona and across the country not to grow cotton to keep the price artificially high to protect American farmers from foreign cotton. Which of the following is the way entrepreneurs influence supply? Technology. Technology. All right, if a firm's product is perishable, where is the firm usually located? Perishable means that they will go bad quickly. They'll be useless. If your product is perishable, where are you going to put your product at? Good, right? We're the consumers. Get it to market as quickly as possible. All right, a tax on production or sale of a good is called what? Excise tax, right? Excise tax is tax on gasoline, alcohol, things like that. All right, the key factor that determines whether the supply of a good will be elastic or inelastic. right? Price is everything in terms of elasticity. It's basically how we react to something that's price. When a business calculating its operating costs, it must include what? Total cost, right? Calculated operating costs got to include everything. Fixed and variable on that. Okay. Which of the following products is likely to have a built-in excise tax? Yeah, it's an excise use. It's only a tax on something you use. So only an excise tax on gasoline, right, is only if you buy gas. If you don't buy gas, you don't pay the tax, right? Everybody pays income tax, excise tax, only if you buy it, right? Same thing with the tax on alcohol, right? You don't buy alcohol, you don't pay the tax. So which the following of these fixed costs, right? So it's a cost of these four, which one does not change? So fixed cost is one that doesn't change. Which one of those numbers does start to change from month to month? Transport property taxes, right? These can change based on material, right? Lumber is going up like 232% more this year. Lumber is, so construction costs change, and then right near the air conditioning kick on. This week has been warm. Last week the air conditioning never kicked on yet, so the electric bill here at the school will be more than it was last week. Which the following is not a variable cost? So which one of those does not change? Manager's salary, right? A salary is a set amount that you pay an employee through the year, so you divide that by 12, and that's what they would get every month. The law of supply is what sort of relationship? If price and supply move in the same direction, whether they're going up or down, what best describes that? There you go, positive or direct, right? If they move in the same direction, it's got to be a direct relationship. Up and up, down and down. If sellers expect the price of a good to fall in the future, they are likely to. Right, put more goods on the market immediately. If they know supply is going to be bought up, right, at a higher price, they'll put it out there now. So, real quick, let's check your stock groups. All right, so earlier today, the chair of the Federal Reserve said that they are worried about inflation. Inflation is sustained rise in the price of goods and services in the country. It says stocks dip, S&P 500 drifts below all-time high after Fed moves policy unchanged. They were hoping that they would lower the interest rates, but they're worried about inflation. And one way to stop inflation is basically to raise or keep steady the interest rate, the amount of money that it would cost you to borrow money. And so there's a number of things that have gone on. You can check out the gainers. This one doesn't move very well. They were moving faster on the.
There was an article that I read that Bitcoin, it was recently went up to like in the district that went really up and then dropped really down really fast.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's crazy.
I got into stocks and stuff. I started like investing.
Well, and especially in your investments and things like that, it's a lot easier to realize that you have years, right, basically to catch up if it goes down.
Yeah.
So let me show you on this one. This will probably be easier. So on your here we go. Okay. So here you can see these are your big gainers today, right? These are the ones that have gone up. Shopify went up $133 a share today. That was one of your big gainers. Genworth Financial went up 57 cents a share. Losers, a couple of pharmaceuticals. Pinterest is still down. It was down this morning, 11.32. So one of the things that you'll want to check is if you have anything that's losing you more than $100 in your group, I would get rid of it. And actually, this part I think would let you see. I think this part would let you see here. Okay, so if there's any stock losing you more than $100, I would get rid of it. We only got 2 or 3 weeks left in the competition. And then I would double down and buy what looks good to you or what has made you money. So a couple of things here. If we look at this period, so this is period 1, this is period 2, this one, remember, is mine. So what we have here, it looks like group 2 is in first. Group 1 has moved into second, and group 3 is in third. Everybody's making money, right? You'll notice that I went up more than $1,000 from yesterday. I forgot to sell GameStop. GameStop went up $10 a share, and I bought a bunch of shares. So I made up a bunch of money yesterday. When you look at that, I should still sell it though, because if we go here, and I know I've got to reset this for you guys to see at home. So I'll reset that in just a second. Let me load it. Don't forget that all you have to do is go to portfolio, right? Account holdings here, and it'll bring up everything that you bought and are currently holding. So that's what you're going to click on there. You've got to reset this so you can see it on your screen. Okay, so here you can see these are the percentage of my 100,000 that's in stocks. This is mutual funds. This is bonds. This is cash I still have left. I still have 30,000 to spend. You can see here, right? I bought GameStop at 193.64. It went up yesterday to 177.77 from like 163. I own 100 shares. That's why I made up nearly $2,000 for them. So anything that goes up. But realistically, with the issues that I have here, I should, right, sell this one here. I should sell this one here, and I should sell this one here. And you want to buy in things that are making you money. So each of your groups needs to make one trade today. You'll have 5 minutes to make that trade. You want to do it quickly. And then there's one more thing to cover, and you'll be set. There. Let me put you in the groups. Let's see here. Okay, perfect. Sorry about that. Got everything set now, I think. So I'll put you in the room for 5 minutes. You just need to make one trade. Oops. So group one is Chris all the way to Cole. Group two is Hannah all the way to CJ. So then I think. Okay, so you'll have 5 minutes, make one trade in your group, and then we'll go over the last thing and we'll be done. Yes. Okay, let me see. I'll come over and figure. That doesn't sound good. You should be able to sell it. How many shares do you have to sell? So everybody should be there, right? Okay, so team 3, I see your trade, you're good. Your group's good. Team 2, you're good. See that you sold something. And then team 1 did 3 different things. Okay, so your group is all set on that, and you should be good to go for that. Check on Aries and make sure that your score shows up for that. It should. Okay. So now on the final, get to this. And so the last thing to cover real quick is going to be the last assignment for this week's module. And it's very simple. So remember on these case studies, this is just your opinion, right? It's a short little clip, a short little article, and then you just give your opinion on what you would do in the situation, right? So as long as you put an answer, there is no right or wrong. The situation is you're 18, you live in rural Southern California, you have a couple of mature avocado trees, and you just pick 10 boxes. Usually your family eats one of the boxes, gives 4 away to friends, and sells the other 5, all right? You read this article about avocados and notice that it has gone from from $37 a box to almost $85 a box, right? 10 boxes would be $850 for your family. So is the price of avocados increasing, okay? And why? And it's in this article right here. You think you should give away the boxes of avocados. 4 boxes at $87 or $84 a piece, right? You're looking over 340 bucks. Compared to other fruits like apples, avocados have an extremely short shelf life, so they're perishable. Does it make it easier or harder for you to supply avocados because they're perishable? And why? Your family orders guacamole at your favorite restaurant. What do you think is going to happen to the supply of guacamole as a result of the higher prices? How would a tariff on Mexican avocados affect the supply of avocados in the U.S.? So remember, a tariff would raise the price of avocados coming from Mexico up usually above those grown in the United States. What would happen? You pick and sell your neighbor's avocados and share the profit. Are you going to go and do that this year? Your neighbor grows large lemons after researching the lemon marketplace. In this story here, right? Heavy rains produced unusually large lemons, right? Do you think you'll pick and sell your neighbor's lessons this year? Why or why not? And then do you think that your neighbor should water their lemon trees more next year? Why or why not? All right. So that is the only assignment that you have between now and next Monday that isn't related to the unit test. So remember this review game, 35 of those questions on the review game make up the unit test you're about to take. So you take notes over that, practice that many times you want. This will show up in Aries as a missing assignment May 3rd, all right, at 3:15. This case study, as I said, there's no right or wrong answer. You're just giving your opinion based on those stories and what is happening there, all right? So if you have questions or concerns, you can stay on. Otherwise, have a good rest of the week, and a good weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. So. Sam, did your canvas open yet or no?
Yeah.
Okay. As we move to the next week, it's probably best if you take UT6 instead of 5, since you missed yesterday's class. And then what happens is we'll have this one make up for this one, the achievement percentage on all of these, and then fill in the missing grades. As you see, your grade already came up 90%. Did they give you a tablet? Do you have a tablet?
No, I'm broke.
Okay, yeah. So bring that with you, and I'll get you one that works. Just bring it with you to class. And then no, your tablet. Oh, bring me your tablet to Pro. I'll just help you do it. So you should see your class first. But I think they're replacing I don't know. And then what about on the days when you're not in the hospital?
Yeah.
Okay, you're in the hospital for school.
Oh, no, but I have to.
Okay. Because I was going to say, you can check out a hotspot with Verizon and go to the tablet. So you get on. So just let me know. And then Mr. already knows where that's at too. So. Cool. Yep. Have a good week. We will see you next week.